In this episode of the Locked On NBA Big Board Podcast, we have a debate because my brother James released his Big Board 2.0 yesterday, and he had Ace Bailey outside of his top three. So I'm going to question James and ask him, how is Ace Bailey not a top three pick in the 2025 NBA draft? Stay tuned for this debate. Big shout out to each and every person that has made the Locked On NBA Big Board Podcast your first listen of the day. I am your host, Rafael Barlowe, along with my brother James. And this episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code Locked On NBA for $20 off your first purchase. Also, check out the Locked On newsletter. Your favorite Locked On NBA podcast has a newsletter delivered right to your inbox daily. Check it out at lockedondaily.com. It is your one-stop shop for ultimate team and league coverage. Again, delivered right to your inbox at lockedondaily.com. And if you are not subscribed to the YouTube channel, please subscribe, like, share, comment, click the bell so you can be notified every time we drop an episode, because we are your daily, every day, your daily source for NBA draft content. And on episodes like today, you may get a very unscripted, not manufactured debate, because I logged on. I talk to James about 5-6 times a day at the minimum. And I know he told me that he was going to release his big board, but we didn't really go in depth. So I wake up and I see his big board and I'm scrolling and I'm like, Jeremiah Fears at number 3? Now, I have nothing against Jeremiah Fears. I like Jeremiah Fears. I like him a lot. I have him as a top 5 guy. But James has him at number 3. I scroll down. Tre Johnson at number 4. I like Tre Johnson a lot. But he has Ace Bailey at number 5. And I think that Ace Bailey is the number 3 ranked prospect in this talented 2025 NBA draft. And I thought last night was a night that he showed why there is so much upside and intrigue with him against UCLA, which UCLA is not the strongest team, but Rutgers came into this game 8-8.
They needed a win.
We did a podcast and they may not even make the Big Ten tournament. Season almost on the line. That's crazy when your season is pretty much on the line in January, because Rutgers is running out of opportunities for quad 1 wins. 20 points, 10 rebounds. He was 7 of 13 from the floor, was 1 of 4 from 3, but he was 5 of 5 from the foul line. He has made 8 of his last 9 free throws, for those that, point out his lack of free throw shooting. But at 6'10", 200 pounds, still has room to grow. He's averaging 19 points, 7.7 rebounds. He's shooting 46% from the floor. He's also shooting 35% from 3 on 5 attempts per game. Good numbers, 6'10", 18 years old. How is that not a top 3 pick? Go ahead, man.
Let me start off by framing this. If you just click on my tweet and see the big board and you see him at 5, and you are Ace Bailey truther, fan, I think the kids are calling them FCs for fan club, you're going to feel a certain type of way. And if you watch some of the pods, listen to some of the pods, you say, man, James is a hater. He's an Ace Bailey hater, right? Because I don't have him. I didn't think he was the number 1 pick. Ace Bailey is extremely talented. My thinking, again, if you read the comments, picks 3 through, and this is going to be a 2-part series, Ralph. But I feel like, in all honesty, there's an argument for the 3rd pick being Ace Bailey, Tre Johnson, Jeremiah Fears, Yakachonis, could be VJ Edgecombe if he keeps trending in the right direction, and also Common Mayuwatch. Now, with that being said, my issues with Ace are the not the performance consistency, because again, these are kids. You have up and down games, right? I'm talking about what it looks like, the playmaking, the decision making, the shot selection consistency. The game last night against UCLA was his best game of the season. More impressive than the 39 he scored against Indiana. Let me tell you why. Again, the 39 was good, but as you can see, and again, I'm not blaming him completely, but that style of play, Ralph, doesn't win you games. When we're watching you ISO 18 feet away for contested two dribble jumpers, that's not winning basketball. This is not the Bernard King era, right? This is not the Glenn Robinson era. 30 years ago, Ralph, Ace Bailey probably goes number one with the way he plays, right? But that's not where we are today. A successful Ace Bailey, number 3 pick, whatever you want to call it, is going to have to continue to play the way he played last night, which is attack the offensive glass, right? I shouted him out for the no-look pass that he made, making plays, and he's attempting 5 threes a game, which on paper looks like he is, and that's great. But it should be even more because he has a tendency to turn down open threes for contested pull-up jumpers. Again, if you got the old school, still listen to CD player mentality, then that's how you want him to play. That's cool. But this 2025, we got music on our phones now. I'm saying this: a team could absolutely select Ace Bailey number 3, 6'10", very good shooter, rebounding, defensive flashes. But there are going to have to be changes to how he plays, habits that he's going to have to break for me to reach his optimal point. That's all I'm saying. You can frame it as hating, but logo ISO post game, we don't do that no more. Not passing the ball, that's not how the game is played anymore. Again, as talented as he is, that's just not that's not going to work in 2025, right?
Can't you make the same case for Tre Johnson?
Yes. And again, I will get to Tre Johnson in the second segment. Tre Johnson is not as egregious. Again, both guys are jump shot reliant, right? And again, if you sit here and you favor Ace Bailey because he's 6'10" versus 6'6", completely understand. But the film, right? The in-person Tre Johnson is a better playmaker than what he's showing right now at Texas. And again, I get to that in the second segment versus the playmaking that we've seen, the lack of playmaking that we've seen from Ace Bailey. Because again, if you're an Ace Bailey truther, again, shout out to the Ace Bailey truthers. But the excuse for him in high school was, his teammates weren't that good. Okay, now his teammates are better. Again, say what you want about Rutgers, but they're better, right? I mean, you're playing with the number 2 pick in the draft. The point being, Ace Bailey puts up more performances like last night against UCLA. And again, I'm not talking about output, right? I'm talking about what it looks like. I'm talking about offensive rebounds. I'm talking about continued defensive awareness. I'm talking mixing a variety of shots. Then him going third, no issue with that. I'll put him at third. It's that simple, Ralph. I'm not a hater, man. I'm just saying the Ace Bailey Carmelo trajectory that he was on, good luck. And to me, that opens up the gates for other guys to go possibly number 3. Because again, ultimately, to make a long story less long, he's going to have to, and everybody has to make adjustments. This isn't picking on Ace Bailey, but he's going to have to make, to me, extreme adjustments to his mentality at the next level, especially if he goes to a situation that the deck is totally cleared and they don't enforce, hey man, switch it up. The talent is there. He has extreme amount of talent. I don't think he's better than Flagg, but the talent is there. Franchise player talent is there. Will he make the necessary adjustments to become that? That is my concern.
I mean, why wouldn't he? He's 18 years old. He went to.
Let me point. Okay, why wouldn't he? DeMar DeRozan.
Let me finish.
Go ahead, finish, man.
He's in a situation now where I don't know if Rutgers is going to hold him as accountable as an NBA team would, because he has, you can say he has more freedom to play that way at a Rutgers than he would if he went to another school. Why? When you go to, and we've talked about it, these are the pros and cons of going to a school that's going to let you rock. But if he goes to, let's say, Duke, right? And he is being held more accountable to where, all right, hey, you are not playing within the system how we want you to play. We still got 3 other McDonald's All-Americans. Get in where you fit in. I think that some of the shots that he's taking would be minimized. But also, and we'll end on this before we get to the second segment, for a guy that has such terrible shot selection, he's shooting like 46% from the floor.
He's extremely talented.
But I mean, that's what I'm saying. That can be fixed if you eliminate 1 or 2 of those very difficult shots. Now we're talking about maybe 48, 49% from the floor. And then I feel like some of those difficult shots are simply because college basketball is getting older. With his thin frame, he's not physically ready like some of these other guys. All right, we'll talk about that in the second segment, because I got a lot to say about why I think some of Ace Bailey's shots are a little bit more difficult than others. All right, let's talk about our new sponsor, which is Wayfair, because after the holiday hustle, there is nothing like giving your home a little TLC. So whether you are into decluttering or refreshing your space to help you get back in a routine, Wayfair is there, because if you're looking to clean up, clear out, or you want a new look to start the new year, Wayfair has everything you need, and it is all within your budget. So if you are looking for a new office setup, or you want to change your man cave, or if you want to change your living room, check out Wayfair. They have a huge selection, and it makes it very easy to find pieces that will fit your style and your budget. The good part is it is free and hassle-free delivery, even for the larger items. Wayfair site is very easy to navigate, and you can find everything you're looking for in no time. So give your home a refresh it needs with Wayfair. Head to wayfair.com right now. That is Wayfair.com. Wayfair.com, every style that fits every home. All right, second segment. So when I left off on the first segment, I mentioned that, you take away a couple of Ace's very difficult shots and the efficiency rises. I mean, you can say that for everybody. Same thing with anybody shooting threes. You take away the end of the shot clock threes or the sidestep threes, the efficiency goes up. I think part of Ace's concerns for right now, why some of the shots are more difficult, is because he's thin. He has a 6'8" or 6'10", 200-pound frame. There are plenty of times where you watch him and he's looking to turn the corner and he can't take the bump. But I like the fact that when he knows that he can't always turn the corner, he can't handle the physicality in the paint, he's already added somewhat of a counter. He loves that like reverse pivot, turnaround jumper, which he made a couple of those last night.
Great shot.
Great shot. So once he adds strength, in my opinion, because we've seen Tre Johnson. We've seen how Tre's body has transformed from when he was a junior in high school to where he's at now. He's got shoulders. He's got strength. Tre Johnson 2 years ago looked like he was 13 years old. But he's been able to work on his body, get stronger. And even then, you can see how he's been able to handle the physicality of college basketball a little bit better than Ace. So for me, with Ace, it's okay. You cut down on some of the difficult shots. You add weight. You add strength. Then you have a 3-level scorer. On top of the fact that the defensive flashes have been there and he's rebounding. And so if he's already getting you, I mean, he had 10 rebounds against UCLA. He's getting you 7.7 rebounds per game on a thin frame. think once he gets stronger, he's going to be able to give you instant offense, rebounding, weak side shot blocking, and somewhere down the line, I think he's going to be at least a respectable passer. The pass that he made yesterday
Great
showed
pass.
me some vision. It was like I guess it was
Pick
a
and
ball
roll.
screen.
Ball
And
screen through a
he found
no-look
the
pass.
cutter, no look pass. Again, I mean, that was one play. Yes, the turnovers far outweigh the assists, but I think for him, he showed that that is some vision. Yes, he gets tunnel vision from time to time, or a lot of the times, but I still think with this combination of size, athleticism, rebounding, defensive upside, it's hard for me to put anyone above him because no matter the flaws or the strengths of the other prospects, they do not have his combination of size and shot making and
Listen,
defensive versatility.
you are not going to get an argument from me on shot making. My argument is shot selection. Before we get to Tre Johnson, I'm just going to provide some pushback on the he's too skinny argument, right? Brandon Ingram was skinny, right? Ace's thing isn't, to me, frame. Does he need to get stronger? Absolutely. It's an ability thing, not a physicality thing. Perfect example. The turnaround jumper that he made last night that I tweeted about, man, that's a great play. That was built off of a drive. You know why? He rose up, he put shoulder into the defender, he took a great angle to the basket, created space. That absolutely translates. The problem is, and my problem is, that happens once every handful of games because there's too many times where, again, his handle isn't strong enough. The angles that he takes aren't good. He'll dribble in an entire circle to shoot a contested three. I mean, like somebody, was it Sheet on the Hawks? Shout out to Sheet on the Hawks. He clipped up a video montage, just tough shots, right? And these shots, Ralph, lastly, weren't tough because he's not strong. They were tough because he dribbles to a spot to shoot jumpers instead of creating space. And again, it has some of it is physicality, a lot of it is ability.
But
Brandon
when
Ingram
you're
got layups at Duke. Same
Brandon
reason.
Ingram,
Yeah, Brandon Ingram.
Ace's efficiency right now is better than Brandon Ingram's.
He's a better natural shooter of the basketball. I'm talking
Brandon
about
Ingram
creating
shot higher percentage from three.
but I'm talking about creating paint touches. That's all I'm saying. Look, if I'm drafting you 3 ace, I need more paint touches from you. And because you're not getting those paint touches, along with the tunnel vision, I might have to entertain Tre Johnson. Tre Johnson. We're on to Tre Johnson, right? Tre Johnson, 6'6", shot making. I think he's the most efficient of the three between like ace, just overall true shooting percentage, 3-point makes, all that. He's the more efficient. You can say shot for shot, he's just as good of a tough shot taker, tough shot maker as Ace Bailey. I think that's a fair argument. I'd have to queue up the numbers. They change every day. That performance that he had this past weekend against, that was what? Tennessee? He got what he wanted. He has the ability to get hot. He shoots threes off the dribble. He can create his own shot. Now, the foot speed and the issue that I have had with Tre is that he might not have enough turbo button, R2, to consistently create paint touches for himself, which is why when we first started talking about him for this draft cycle, I was like, I think ultimately, Rob, he's going to need more pick and roll reps to unlock the paint touches for him. Because again, the handle is there. You're not gonna argue that, right? The creativity is there. So off the dribble 3-point shooting is there. But in college basketball, off of a heavy ISO, it's hard to get paint touches. I think at the next level with pick and roll reps, right? And again, we've seen it. We know he can pass. Better playmaker, I think, than the numbers show. I think you have something there. Almost to the fact of like, whatever you feel about Tyler Hero is a 25-5 guy. And it looked like he's going to be that going forward because Jimmy Butler is trying to get out, right? But I feel like Tre's going to have more natural strength, probably the same level of athletic ability, and not have to run the numbers, but that kind of level of shooting. But he might even be that. If he's that kind of player, that is great. That's what I'm saying. I feel like Tre, again, consistency with all these guys, right? Tre, I need more paint touches from you, and I need more playmaking from you as well. I feel like a team, again, entertain it. You see the talent, you see the shot making ability. It's all there. So I feel like there could be an argument for him at 3 because he possesses some of those same traits that you love about Ace. Everybody loves about Ace. I like about Ace, but yeah, he's 4 inches shorter. Yes, you lose some of the defensive versatility, but you get an added level of playmaking. Is he Tyler Kolek? Absolutely not. But there is some playmaking there. I'm making an argument for him at number 3 as well. And again, on my chart, and I mentioned in the notes, 3 through about 6, I feel like there's about 6 guys who can make an argument for being a 3rd pick in the draft.
And see, to me, I think the draft starts at 4. I think,
and that's fair. That's your opinion. I think it starts at 3.
I think the top 3 are solidified. I think they're locked in. I just think it's going to be Cooper, Dylan, and Ace. Ace will be 18 on draft night. He doesn't turn 19 until after Summer League. So I think that helps him out. I mean, a few months isn't that big of a difference. Tre would turn...
Tre birthday in April, I believe.
He turns 19 in March.
In March, my fault.
And then I think Jeremiah he'll turn
19 in the season.
He'll turn 19 in October. So really, Jeremiah is what, 2 months younger than Ace Bailey?
Older, yeah, younger, yeah.
Yeah, it's 2 months. So I think Ace is August, Jeremiah is October. So they're both young, and then you can look at them and say those are 2 of the guys in this draft class, and Molly Wouch is another one that you can say physically have the most room to grow, because Molly Wouch he's got a solid frame, but he definitely could put on a lot more muscle. Tre, has put on the muscle.
But there's still room for growth, though. Like,
there's still room for growth, but you look at his shoulders.
19-year-old kid, yeah.
You look at his shoulders. He's put on a lot of muscle. I forgot, someone told me it's like 20 to 25 pounds.
Yeah, his jerseys were super baggy.
Yeah, in like the last 18 months. And I think Ace, once he gets stronger, I think that's going to open different things up in his game. All right, when we return, I want to hear your thoughts of why you believe that Jeremiah Fears could be the number 3 pick in the 2025 draft. And I also want to hear your thoughts on some of the struggles that he's had. All right, before we get into the last segment, let's talk about game time, because I love going to sporting events. And for me, it's all sports. But for others, it could be sports, music, theaters, comedy, and more. One of my favorite memories of using the Game Time app, I have a couple. One was going to the Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence fight. Another was taking my family to a Yankees game in New York City around the 2023 NBA draft. Got my tickets on the Game Time app. And now Game Time has made it even easier to get tickets for your favorite events with their new feature called Game Time Picks. This feature filters out all the fluff, and it shows you incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste a lot of time searching through thousands of tickets. So you can take the guesswork out of buying tickets with the Game Time app. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, use the redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. All right, when it comes to grocery shopping and meal planning, I know a lot of people have this ongoing problem. You just don't have enough time between work, life, and trying to eat healthier. But now it can all change for you with Hungry Root, because Hungry Root is a game changer. It is the easiest way to eat healthy without all of the stress. With Hungry Root, it's like having a personal shopper and nutritionist all in one. They will take care of your grocery shopping. They'll recommend meals and grocery based on your taste and your health goals. And the best part, every meal is ready in 15 minutes or less. I'm talking quick, healthy meals that actually taste great. And it is all delivered straight to your door. It is a huge, huge time saver, and it will make eating healthier a lot simpler. So you're going to love Hungry Root. Check it out, and you'll get 40% off your first box and a free item in every box for life. All you have to do is go to hungryroot.com/lockedonnba and use the code LOCKEDONNBA. That's hungryroot.com/lockedonnba. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA and you'll get 40% off your first box and a free item of your choice for life. All right, last segment, Jeremiah Fears. Why, in your opinion, do you think Jeremiah Fears has an opportunity to be the number 3 pick in the 2025 NBA draft? Now, I know you're high on him. I know you were first to the Jeremiah Fears party.
That's not what this podcast is about.
And I know you're not an engagement farmer. I see a lot of that going on. I know you're not just saying something for the clicks and to get the algorithm, and I don't even know if that's the word.
It is now.
But you really believe that. You really believe Jeremiah Fears has a shot to be the number 3 pick. I need you to explain why. I'm not here to debate and say you're wrong because you've been right before. But number 3, you got to explain it to me.
All right. So when I make these evaluations, I don't want to be too reactionary to a couple of games. With that being said, Fears is not off to his best start in SEC play, right? Struggled against Alabama. He got going in the second half. You can say he got going because there was no pressure on him to, to get loose in the second half. But he did. He wasn't good the last game. With that being said, though, the totality of everything, the highs of the highs, I feel like in the end, there's people who question his height. I mean, listen, Oklahoma say he's 6'4", he's 6'4" until he's not 6'4". But with his ability to create paint touches, the playmaking, the vision is there. The decision-making needs to get better. But his ability to create offense for himself, offense for others, right? The three-point percentages aren't great right now, but I believe he's an 84% free throw shooter, which means the touch is there. In today's NBA, the modern NBA, a guard with athleticism and speed and shooting potential that you can't keep out of the paint, those guys are highly coveted, right? We see, and again, he's not these guys. And even the comparison that I made to De'Aaron Fox, that's not a one-to-one comparison. But you can't keep John Morant out of the paint, right? He's tough to guard, right? He creates looks for Jaren Jackson. He creates looks for the ultimate rim finisher and Zach Edey. Correct? You can't keep a De'Aaron Fox out of the paint. When he gets it going, on any given night, he could be the best player on the floor and win his matchup. This is correct. I feel like with Fears' speed, playmaking, rebounding, athleticism, and shooting potential, he has all-star upside. It's a lot to ask for these kids to put it all together, but he has the physical tools and I think the offensive ability, creativity to be dangerous at the next level. Again, he needs stuff. He just like Ace, just even Flagg. Everybody has things that they need to work on, but the talent, and like I mentioned in the podcast before, everything that we as draft evaluators loved about Nolan Traore that might be not true or possibly true about Jeremiah Fears as far as ability, speed, creativity. I can't keep him out the paint. Ralph, looks like to me somebody who's going to, in high pick and roll at the next level, he is going to put your defense in hell. Because if the off the dribble shooting works out for him, he has a floater, he has the middle game, and he's going to get rim attempts and he's going to get fouled. And it's going to be tough. I sincerely believe in his ability. And again, I stand here on the island. I was the first one on the island. I feel like he has the talent to be one of the best players in this draft, not named Flagg or Dylan Harper.
I agree. And here's the reason why I don't know if he has a legitimate shot at being number 3. He could end up being the third best prospect in the draft.
Correct.
Which is the most important part of it. But with number 3, I think as a freshman playing in the SEC with their schedule, it is going to be very difficult for him to have consistent numbers.
Correct.
Right now, in his first 3 games, and again, small 3-game sample size, in conference play, he is averaging 10 points, 4 rebounds, 3.7 assists.
Ugly, 3.7 turnovers. The shooting percentage, they're all, like I said, when we first
let me say the percentage.
Say them, they're trash.
29% from the floor, 16% from 3, 36% on 2s, 32% effective field goal position, field goal percentage, 69% free throw percentage, and again, the assists and turnovers
are 1-to-1
even.
Right.
With that being said, you have bumped his stock. You have moved him up your draft board.
Right. I didn't move him prior to
I mean, your board just came out yesterday.
Listen, so I put it out, but listen, Ralph, again, you funny dog. 3 through 6, I'm making an argument. There will be a part 2 of this podcast. I didn't forget about Jakučionis. I know Jakučionis. The Lithuanian homeboy messaged me the other day saying, "Where's Jakučionis?" I didn't forget about him. I'm making an argument. I'm opening a dialogue about the 3rd pick. All right, and I don't do tiers. But with that said, if Fears continues to struggle in SEC play, which could very much so happen, then I need to move him accordingly. But I'm talking about the totality of his talent, which to me is undeniable. But again, if the shooting, if the Michigan game, if the Arizona game, if the Oklahoma State game, if those games were just blips, I'd be the first one to move him.
I don't know, because if Ace Bailey in conference play was shooting 29%, 16% from 3, there's no way you could tell me that you would move him up. If Nolan Traore was shooting the same stats, conference play or whatever, you wouldn't move him up. I know Jeremiah Fears is like a guy that you're high on, but
the disrespect. I would absolutely move him up and move him down. I'm not afraid. Listen, none of these kids is paying me, bro. There's no reason for me to be attached to anybody, right? The mock came out. The draft board came out when it came out, but I'm taking in the totality of the entire season. You can laugh, you can snicker. Again, when the new one drops in February, whenever I decide to, evaluate conference play, and he continues to stink it up, he won't be 3, he won't be 5. He might not even be 7 at that point. I'm saying today, all right, when we take in all the games played through today, whatever day you watch or listen to this in the middle of January, he is as talented as any guard in this draft, not named Dylan Harper. And he has great games on his resume that can show you glimpses of what he can become at the next level.
No, I agree. But
that's all I'm saying.
Take the time. I will say this. I think if him and Nolan Traore switched spots, if Jeremiah Fears was playing for San Quentin, I know that's how I know that's not how it's said in French because
we speak in Tupac. Go ahead.
If Jeremiah Fears was in San Quentin and Nolan Traore was playing college basketball, I think the same struggles and the same reason why Traore is falling would be there for Fears. So I think if Traore was playing, and I think he would still struggle a little bit in the SEC because it's brutal, I think their roles would be reversed.
I 100% agree with you. But again, we're talking about individual shot creation. Traore is just fast. He has no side to side. Unfortunately, he's fitting into that French point guard mode where they can run an offense, but they can't really create for themselves, which you need them to have. Traore doesn't know when to shoot a floater. He does not know when to shoot a jumper. These aren't things to me Jeremiah Fears struggle with. That, and again, we're not talking about percentages. We're not talking about efficiency. We're talking about playing style, decision making, at least even just for the creating for themselves. Fears is a better creator for himself than Traore, regardless of what language we speak, what country we playing ball in. That's what I'm saying.
We're going to have to finish this
Part
episode.
2, man. I'm ready.
That wraps up this episode of the Locked On NBA Big Board Podcast. Again, check out the Locked On newsletter at lockedondaily.com. Let us know your thoughts. Who do you think is going to be the number 3 pick in the 2025 NBA draft? Or even better, who do you think is the 3rd best prospect in the 2025 NBA draft? Is James tripping? Is he off? Let us know. Once again, it's Rafael and James, and we are out of here.